What's up, fellas? Coming at you today with my newest video series. I'm basically going to be doing all the different genres I have of vinyl. We're about to start volume 2 of the punk vinyl. This is all the extreme, like, grindcore, D-beat, crust punk, power violence, shit like that. The previous video, we were going over baby shit like the Misfits, but but we're men here, you know, you and I know you're a man, and men sometimes need that primal savagery. You know, I don't even know where the fuck I was going with that. So, yeah, grindcore, power violence, blah, 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 basically extreme punk. About to show you all my vinyl I have of it. Gonna have a little discussion and shit. And I thought I'd top our punk session off with my favorite grindcore album, and like everyone else's favorite grindcore album. This is Wormrot's Dirge. I remember vividly first discovering this. It was like basically based off the album art. I mean, that looks gnarly as fuck, dude. But yeah, I mean, the riffs are really catchy, and the vocals are just fucking, like, veins popping out of your head. It's just savage, just crazy shit, and I love it. I don't have Abuse on vinyl, but I got their most recent album, Voices. I don't remember if this came with the cool pressing or not. Oh yeah, got a little red going on there. Now, my opinion on this album, Voices, I'm not a huge fan of, like, some of the post-hardcore elements that were added to it, but it's whatever. It's still a good grinding time. Now, we're gonna be moving on to crust punk, and you probably already know what band I'm gonna talk about, but I'm talking about Doom. This is their compilation Total Doom. I don't own any, like, studio albums from Doom. I have the CD version of this too, but yeah, it's just a compilation of B-sides and singles and stuff. I used to have Doom's Police Bastard 7-inch, and like instead it was like the cover is like a British cop, you know, they wear those little hats, except there's like a swastika on it. It looked really cool. Not saying swastikas are cool, but I thought it looked cool because it was like putting that police officer in the same generalization as a Nazi. If you're like really anti-police, I can totally see you jamming some Doom. But up next, we got some more power violence with Portrayal of Guilt, Let Pain Be Your Guide. This is another power violence album that kind of dabbles in post-hardcore. But, I mean, the vocals are great, they're ear grating, it's just fucking amazing shit. What do we got next? Ooh, some Napalm Death, Utilitarian. I don't have a ton of Napalm Death on vinyl. The other vinyl, I have more Napalm Death ones than this, but those are in, like, the death metal categories. Cause with Napalm Death, they like switch it up every album. Like, everyone knows Scum is like their first grindcore album, but like Harmony Corruption, that's like straight up old school death metal. But this is one of their more grind oriented albums. Ooh, we're about to go to Power Violence City right now. Let me tell you. Starting off our fucking adventure with Neanderthal, A History of Violence. And the fucking disc is so cool. It's one-sided, but then there's an etched one. Can you see that? Hold it up to the light a little bit. Yeah. Look at that shit. But yeah, really good, just fucking knuckle dragging, screaming your head off, just fast manic riffs and the whole punk ethos. It's just fucking awesome. Still got a few more Power Violence albums to go. And now we're going to be talking about the most important band of 2010's Power Violence, and that is Nails. This is their first album, Unsilent Death. I think this came out in like the late 2000s, but still. Nails has made a significant impact on the modern power violence scene. This is my favorite from them. It's literally only like 15 minutes long. But, oh my god, is this a fucking punishing experience. And then we got their sophomore album, Abandon All Life. Funny story with this one is, I bought this at a used record shop. I had no idea who Nails was. This was like 2000, whenever this album came out, like 2013, 14. And I saw it in the used section, and I looked at the back and shit, and I was like, hey, this might be a cool album. And what do you know, it was. I got it for $6.99. Not fucking bad. Now, to finish off our Nails, I also have... Sorry, I like jump topics sometimes. I have the Full of Hell and Nails split 7-inch. I don't have a lot of 7 inches, but I might make a video just on all of them, because I do have quite a few. It's just I use them more as, like, decoration. But yeah, this is Nails, You Will Never Be One of Us. It's good. I prefer the more manic and, like... This is like way heavier and crushing, but I prefer like the veracity and savagery of Unsilent Death and Abandon All Life. But this is still a good album. It's still, if you're a Nails collector, it's obviously a must. Now for the last, not the last completely Power Violence album, just the last one in this lineup, is Man is the Bastard with Thoughtless. Comes on a really cool orange pressing. But yeah, Man is the Bastard. They're like super old school Power Violence. Some of their shit is even considered like power electronics and industrial and shit, but yeah, Man is the Bastard. Now, this next album about the show is a little confusing why it's here, because I covered it in the War Metal video, but this album has such a punk, like, aesthetic. Well, not really aesthetic, it has a War Metal aesthetic, but it has a punk sound. And I'm talking about Kapala, Infest, Cesspool. This is another one with a cool, crazy etched, yeah, look at that shit. Kapala recently came out with an album. I have listened to it, and I liked it. I prefer Infest Cesspool, but it was still good. I'll start doing, like, album reviews and shit again, too, like, later down the line, like I used to. Up next is Fukpig with Bastards. This is another Power Violence album. It came out, like, last year, I think. Really sick, like, green, black splatter. But yeah, the vocals specifically with Fukpig, they're just, like, all gurgly and just, like, animalistic. It's, like, kinda how I try to make my Power Violence vocals sound. But, yeah, Bastards by Fukpig. What do we got next? Yes. The Full of Hell and Merzbow collaboration. Full of Hell, you know, very famed modern Power Violence. Well, I guess I wouldn't even call them Power Violence anymore. Their newest album, forget what it's called. I listened to it, but it's like way too death metal oriented, and I'm very picky about my death metal nowadays, but yeah, Full of Hell and Merzbow. Merzbow being the legendary Japanese noise composer. But yeah, this is just unforgiving, just like ear shredding, just savagery, and I fucking love it. I said that really sussly. Up next, we got Agoraphobic Nosebleed. Now we're getting into some grindcore. Yeah, look at that shit. Agoraphobic Nosebleed. I'm not super familiar with them. This album is a banger, and in the future, I do want more Agoraphobic Nosebleed, but yeah, just great grinding, just... You know what I'm talking about. Now we have this weird-ass album. I don't even remember what the fuck it's called. Oh yeah, it's a funny name. It's called... They're called Beaten to Death. And this is Agronomicon. It's just a weird album. It's grindcore, but it's like... It has a bunch of different flavors that you don't normally expect in grindcore. And I will try to put every album I've mentioned in the description. But yeah, Beaten to Death. It's good, it's crazy, it's weird, it's amazing. Up next we got my favorite power violence album, which is Dropdead's, whatever, I think this is a self-titled, yeah. But yeah, Dropdead, they're an old school power violence band. I think this comes on a cool pressing, let me see. Yeah, it's like shit brown. But yeah, Dropdead, they're... Oh, the fucking vocals. I get a headache just from listening to the vocals. And I mean that in, like, the most, like, sincere, like... I mean it in a good way, okay? But yeah, fucking Dropdead. Now we're gonna get a little absurd for a second. Not the band Absurd. But we are talking about Anal Cunt's Morbid Florist. Hell fucking yeah. I did an album review of this. So, if you want to see my thoughts and takes on this entire album, go watch that video, because I've already talked about this album to death. And then the last Anal Cunt album I have is Wicked Dead. Just a bunch of demos and shit, but it's still really cool to have. Ooh, more power violence. We got ACDC. Not that ACDC. Discography 2003 through 13. Just, it's good. Just, you know. When you're in a power violence mood, ACDC fucking delivers. Got some more power violence. This is Black Breath with Sentenced to Death. I fucking love this album. This album might even be in my top 10. It's definitely in my top 10 punk albums. Like, definitely. But I'm talking about, like, majority. Like, of all the other shit I listen to. Yeah, this is way up there. Just the buzzsaw tone of the guitars and the screaming on this also gives me a headache, but in a good way. It's just like, and the riffs, they are so good at riffing. It's like, what the fuck am I trying to say? It's like rock and roll, like licks, except it's like soaked in power violence. It's fucking amazing. Black Breath, Sentenced to Death. Sentenced to Life, my bad. Time to show some crust punk love again. We got Bat with Wings of Chains. This project has Ryan Waste, is that his name? From Municipal Waste. It's like a little side project. But I think it's good. I mean, it's pretty simple, but it creates a cool vibe. Like, this is like one of more of my like party albums. Like, if I have a lot of people over and we're in a fucking punk mood, I try to throw on this. Now we're getting into gore grind. We're almost done, I swear. This is a first pressing of Carcass's Reek of Putrifactiom, straight from Earache. This isn't my favorite Carcass album, but it's my favorite gore grind Carcass album. My favorite Carcass album would have to be Surgical Steel, but we'll talk about that when I get into death metal. But yeah, this is it. This is the OG. I try to take care of this as best as I can because this is like one of the first ones ever made. Now we're gonna finish off with some Agolotholocies. I don't know how to fucking say it, but yeah, really good. I mean, they kind of combine all the elements of extreme punk. They got power violence on here, they got grindcore, they got crust punk. It's just really cool, really like diverse and shit. But yeah, that is my extreme punk vinyl collection. Up next, I am going to do the singer-songwriters and just like albums that didn't fit anywhere else. But yeah, thank you for watching. Feel free to subscribe and